Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out about until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but... All
right, folks. Welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley, and this week we have Texas to catch up on and some other stuff. So, folks, how we doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good, Brian. Just sitting here watching the World of Outlaws at Lincoln tonight. Of course, Pennsylvania Speed Weeks is fast approaching, and that's not for a little bit here, but they're down in Williams Grove this weekend as well. Excited to watch all of that, and that is this evening's race. If you're watching along at home, is World of Outlaws at Lincoln. You can line the replay up right with this. They just wrecked, so you can figure out when that is and line it up with us, and you can watch along at home. How you doing, Truelove?
I am doing fantastic.
You got like a pig in there or something?
Yep. Doing great.
Little bonus sireen at the end there.
It accidentally restarted.
I'd forgotten that had happened, so.
Well, I did not. Went to the pool room yesterday, had a little lunch, took my picture with the sign.
Nice.
Stopped
Didn't they spell it wrong?
Or they
left some letters up.
They pissed me off so bad with that sign. They need to hire me as the sign caretaker, but
yeah.
The R and starts had fell off, and then they didn't even put where he started, and then there were some letters on the ground too, but they didn't even belong to whatever was on the sign, so I don't know what was going on. It also said help wanted, and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now, So yeah, Texas. Where do we begin? Friday, Truck Series. Before we get into the actual race itself, there was some newsworthy stuff going on in the track in the form of a squirrel shutting down. It was practice or qualifying. I don't know if I forget which. They were between sessions or something. But yeah, I was not watching this, but I caught it on Twitter that a bunch of track guys were trying to just round up this squirrel, and I guess at the track they were playing yakety sax on the PA, which is cool.
Classic move.
Unfortunately, the squirrel did not actually escape. I guess they kind of corralled him into a different part of the track, and they thought he was free and clear, but then qualifying started, and I forget who exactly hit him and killed him. Does anybody remember?
Butcher.
Cole Butcher,
Perfect
yes.
name.
So, yeah, Cole Butcher butchered the squirrel, and they had to take a brief moment to clean the organic material off the track, according to the announcers. But then Cole Butcher ended up wrecking out of the race, so the squirrel got its revenge in the long run.
Lap 11.
Yeah, what a shame.
Stage 2.
Lap 1, stage 2. I saw a note about squirrel here in the notes, and I'm so used to talking about Cletus McFarland and his whole gang of people that I was like, I didn't know he was running a truck race, squirrel, but no, it was an actual physical squirrel.
Just showed up to qualifying to cause problems.
Mm-hmm. There's a note here about a Hocevar fan on TV. I think I remember who you're talking about, but refresh my memory on this.
They just kept showing this one guy on the screen a bunch during
bald,
the truck
right?
race. Yeah, he was bald and he was wearing a Hocevar shirt. And the first time they showed him, he was like hitting his vape and like trying to hide it. And then they showed him again, and like his girlfriend was talking to him, and he was like so clearly ignoring everything about her. And then they showed him again, and he like very visibly like let out a huge burp. So it's like, is that the only fan you could find? But I guess he was the only one that kept his shirt on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Race itself was excellent. Very, very good race.
Badass.
I mean, you had a bunch of Cup guys in there. Obviously, Hocevar, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain. I think there were a couple other names in there, but they weren't really factors. But I mean, yeah, just a lot of really good racing. All three races were good, but I would argue the truck race was the most entertaining. A lot of really good battles. Both Kyle Busch and was it Caden Honeycutt? No, Lane Riggs. Lane Riggs, he had to come from the back a couple times, and then Kyle Busch also had to come from the back once, and they both were able to get back up to the front. So that was really good. Caden Honeycutt, he was trying his hardest, and he's just like almost dejected that he can't seem to win any of these races, even though he does really well. But being from Texas, he had a lot of supporters in the crowd. A lot of them were shirtless, hoping he was going to win. Yep. And Jamie Little pointed out on TV that even some of the women were shirtless, and then Mikey perked up real big at that.
Yeah. Oh my.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember what was the note. I mean, there was a late caution that created a great. There was already a good battle going on between Kyle and Hocevar and Gio Ruggiero, but then there was a late caution with Jake Garcia.
And Taylor Gray ramping off the
grass. 3 to go. Yeah, 3 to go. I guess Jake Garcia had a tire going down, so he decided just to cut across all lanes of traffic to get to the pits. And Justin Haley went through the grass to try to avoid him and ended up launching into the air and destroying.
Yeah, it was Justin Haley. That's right. Sorry.
His truck. Yeah,
he had a bad wreck.
Yeah. Garcia said that his spotter had cleared him, but I don't know. I guess you need a new spotter or something.
Yeah, well, that's the opposite of what happened on Sunday with spotters, but we'll get to that. That set up a green-white checkered, another really good battle. Gio, he got, pushed out of the front of the pack pretty early. He fell back. But, led to a good battle with Carson and Kyle for the win. But Carson ended up getting his second win in 5 days. He didn't do the full celebration, which he shouldn't do the full celebration. But he also, in the post-race interview, he did a burnout, and the very end of the burnout, when he was doing donuts, he kind of climbed out of the truck and, did half a burnout hanging out the truck. But he mentioned in the post-race interview that he's like, I had to do something, because so that's what he did, and he'll continue to work on his post-race victory celebrations. But just a great race overall. It's funny that Kyle gave his teammate for the night a celebratory rub after beating him, and was not as thrilled with Carson on Sunday. But again, we'll get to
Kyle's not thrilled with anybody on Sundays.
No, we'll get to all of that.
Yeah, this is one of the rare truck races I actually had an opportunity to watch after we wrapped up at Claremont, which had a great show, by the way. I don't remember the guy's names. I'm still learning everybody's names, but a hell of a late model feature. Maybe I'll send you guys the big battle. But I guess I can't send you the whole thing because it was all 50 laps of these guys beating and banging. But yeah, great show. New cameraman did a great job. We did book us a hotel room.
Rob, we're not in the septic tank right now. Talking about the goddamn.
I'm just telling you, I'm just getting through it now.
Talking about his truck race experience.
Yeah, we booked a hotel room because we thought the show was going to run late, and it ended up ending at like 9, and was like, well, I guess we got to find something to do. Ended up at the Polish American Club, this kind of bar you have to like buzz into and show an ID, or not an ID, but like you're supposed to have a membership card, but they let us in. They buzz us in. We walk down, sit down at the bar, look up, and the truck race is already on television for me to watch directly in front of me. Didn't have to ask anybody. And then the beers started flowing. So that was great. And I did watch it on silent, but it was definitely cool to see Carson pick up a win in a room full of people, half watching it and not trying to get someone to turn on like fucking Bruins highlights or something on the TV. That was really nice. See, we got there. But yeah, great race. Shout out to the Claremont Polish American Club.
Where you can watch a woman lick pretzel salt off her fingers.
Yeah, and you can listen to a whole lot of Shine Down in there as well.
Perfect.
That's your thing.
All right, so that brings us to Saturday for the O'Reilly's Busch race, whatever. Started off with 2 wrecks in the first 10 laps. The first one took Corey Day out of the race. He didn't even really seem like his car was that fucked up. Like, his bumper was like half hanging off, but I guess it was bad enough for him to just retire for the day. So Truelove was happy about that.
Yep.
The next caution happened, and I can't remember exactly what happened with the wreck itself, but the big story there was the 91 of Mason Maggio was turning back around to, beat the field and get back to the pit road, and almost took out the pace car. Pace car had to do a maneuver to get around him and not wreck the Corvette they were driving that day.
Yeah,
but,
that was some real special driving right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume he blamed his spotter for that one. But
I'm sure.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. But yeah, on to the race itself. I mean, again, just great battles throughout the entire day. Larson was not much of a factor in the beginning. I think he said his car was tight or something, and he really didn't seem like he was going to be a factor. It seemed like, Allgaier was up there. Who else was up there earlier in the race?
Allgaier won stage 1, and then Zilich won stage 2.
Yeah, Zilich was up there too. But yeah, late in the
Cruz
race
as well. He was always in the mix.
Yeah, like there was a really good 3-wide battle with Zilich, Brent, and Larson that got real tight coming out of 4. But they all managed to keep it together. But yeah, overall, just a great race. Seems like there was a little bit of tension between Allgaier and Larson. They were battling pretty hard for the lead towards the end. But no, Kyle Larson ended up winning his second Busch race of the year.
Yeah, little Uncle Rob won 2 for the truck race, or won 1, I guess, truck race in the Busch Series race. Love to see that. I certainly got my comeuppance on Sunday, but we're not quite to that point in the show yet.
Yeah.
No sirens rang for my wins, I can tell you that.
Anything to add, Truelove? Because I don't really have a whole lot.
No, I mean, at this point of the weekend, I was just really fucking hating NASCAR to full effect. I was like, wow.
Yeah, okay, listen.
What a fucking bullshit weekend.
Okay, come on.
I gotta watch 2 Cup guys come down and win the first 2 races I tuned into.
But this is where you have to be a little more objective as a fan, I feel like, because, I mean, this
I don't
is...
have to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know, like even if it's drivers I don't like, if the racing itself is good, like I'm still gonna be entertained.
You're not gonna win this one, Brian.
I know I'm not.
You're
but
asking Truelove
asking me
to endorse a Carson Hocevar and a Kyle Larson win.
With my most hated and second most hated drivers currently.
Listen, even if I had to watch a fucking Ty Gibbs and Corey LaJoie battle for the win, and if it was a good battle, I'd still be entertained. I wouldn't be thrilled with the results, but I'd at least enjoy the racing itself. But
yeah, I mean, they were great races up until the end. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that'll bring us to Sunday, which there's a whole lot to talk about there. So yeah, practice for both Daniel Suarez and Bubba Wallace was not great. What, so Suarez getting in the wall or something a little bit? I mean, he still qualified
he just got
second.
a flat, and then he was stuck on the apron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And his team wanted to come change the tire, and NASCAR said, no, we have to tow it. And Suarez said, I'm not letting you tow this. So he drove backwards.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
To the pits. And it would have just been quicker for them to come change it. But
yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, he didn't have to go to a backup car, and he qualified second, so
How many years of this fucking car have we had, and NASCAR still can't figure out how to get somebody with a flat tire off the racetrack?
Well, it seems like the rear tires, they have that air jack system, but I guess the fronts, they don't have it in the front or whatever. I don't.
I think it's like up to the teams, too, if they want to install it every race.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Most teams just do it for super speedways.
Yeah, because it does add weight and whatnot, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, Bubba ended up wrecking, and it wasn't a bad wreck, but it was enough to go to a backup car, so he didn't qualify, but didn't destroy his Sunday. I actually did see a tiny bit of the grid walk, and I caught Mikey trying to sing some song, and I don't know who. Oh, it was William Byron. He was singing a song with William Byron, and Byron had no reaction to it. So
well, he's sick of Mikey coming up and singing songs to him on the grid walk when he's trying to get ready to go race for
Not the first time.
4 hours. Yeah. Another thing that I saw pre-race was they did this really emotional segment about Joey Logano and his work with children with like terminal illnesses, and they were talking about a specific child fan that had passed away like within hours of watching Joey win a race on TV, and like it got me chopping onions. They did a nice job with it. And then they immediately go to the booth, and the first words out of Clint Boyer's mouth are, I can relate to having fans. They were wearing he said they were wearing orange shirts, and I wrecked on lap 4. I was like, what the fuck?
That is not even close to comparable. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. So I am so ready for Prime to start soon.
Well, we only got a couple weeks left.
Yeah. Also, pre-race, we had Connor Zilic hanging out with my Sea Lion friends.
Yes.
And the Love on the Spectrum guy, Tyler, was there hanging out, telling Zilic NASCAR facts about his own number.
Truelove's greatest hits.
Is he in season 3 and 4? Like which seasons is he in? 'Cause I'm interested
he is
to watch
introduced
those.
he's introduced in season 3, and then he's introduced in last season, and then he's definitely in this new season.
Okay.
So whatever those are.
All right. So moving on to the race itself. Early on, Christopher Bell got taken out by the curse of Charlie Kirk yet again when Todd Gilliland spun coming out of 4, and Bell was racing for the lead at that point, and I think Larson got around him. I forget who he was racing with, but whoever he was racing with got around Gilliland, but Gilliland just barely clipped Bell's bumper and took him out of the race. So, horrible season for Bell so far when it comes to bad luck like that. But I can't say I'm upset about it. There was a lot of bullshit on pit row. There was I'm trying to think. Chase Briscoe, he got held up by somebody. There was a minor.
And Larson collided.
Yeah, minor collision there, but a major collision for Joey Logano. I forget who he ran in the back of, but he completely killed his car on pit road.
Custer.
Yeah,
Cole Custer, that's it.
Cole checked up because somebody was coming out of the box in front of him, and Logano was hauling ass out of his pit, and just didn't see him.
I think he closed his eyes because there was no evasive action whatsoever. He just full throttled into the back of Cole Custer.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I stood up and applauded. That was great.
Also had Eric Jones win his first stage ever.
I was so shocked to find that out.
Same. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's won a race, but I guess weird that he's never won a stage. Mm-hmm. But he was just trying to, get points. He was not really a contender all day. It was pit strategy that got him there. Our first piece of beef we got to talk about. So
piece of beef.
Love beef talk.
So I guess Ty Gibbs pissed off Ryan Preece at some point in the race, and Preece went on a rant for about a lap and a half, 2 laps, just bitching about this rich kid who has he didn't say rich kid, but I mean kids with
kind of
but
it was implied. Yeah,
he was pissed off that he's got a fast car, but he always drives like an asshole, and he said next time I get to him, I'm gonna. He didn't. I'm trying to think of the exact wording he said, but I'm gonna take care of him or something like that.
He might regret. He would end up regretting his choice of words. There's no question.
Yeah. So, not too long after that diatribe happened, they did get together going into 3, and to me, this seemed like a racing deal. They were racing going into 3, and Ty came down in front of Preece and checked up, and Preece just didn't feel like checking up and didn't even get into him that hard, but it was enough to get him loose, and he got in the wall.
Priest says he never touched him.
He definitely touched him. And SVG saw this, and he told his crew chief that he just watched a murder committed. Which I don't think it was that blatant of a wreck. But unfortunately, we learned a couple hours prior to recording that Priest was fined 25 points and I think 50 grand.
50 grand.
Which is very disappointing. I think it's bullshit. It was not that bad of a wreck.
Well, especially when we get to the other piece of beef we have to offer at the meat raffle tonight.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Probably not the best idea. Probably could have let that one go. I didn't think that what Gibbs did was all that egregious. I understand why he was upset. Got stuck 3 wide middle and kind of lost the air in his car and lost a bunch of spots. So I see where he's coming from, and I don't know if there's any more history that kind of predates this incident here that would cause him to get that pissed off. But also, no one asked Ty Gibbs to clear himself off of Priest's nose because he did chop him pretty hard. And then Priest just chose not to lift, and we saw this. I mean, was it was Stenhouse that did the same thing to Hocevar a while ago, and Hocevar just didn't lift, so it set him. So that's kind of, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that a penalty is warranted here. Necessarily, and especially if you're not going to hand one out for the incident we're going to talk about in about 10 minutes here.
And also, too, I feel like, because NASCAR doesn't like when you call this shit out.
Well, that's what I was about to say, yeah.
And it feels like almost cheating to where they're going to use his radio communication as the indicator as to intent here. It's not like when Denny admitted it or other people have admitted it.
Bubba got into trouble with that too. Yeah.
So that I think kind of sucks, especially the points. I mean, the money is one thing, but the points, I think Priest will still make the playoffs just fine. But Priest, we should also mention too that prior to the weekend starting, the report came out that RFK does not have a third charter lined up for next year, and there's none for sale right now, and that could mean bad things for Priest's career, which really sucks because he's finally in a car and with a team that's, providing him with speed and good finishes, and he's doing well. Like, he's done well since he's gotten in that car, and he's contended for wins, and he's made the playoffs. And, for him to finally get to this point in his career and potentially lose his ride just because, there's not fucking charter form would be really disappointing for us Priest fans. So
it'd be the most Ryan Priest way for this to end, because that's sort of luck he seems to carry around with him. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. You kind of said it all, Brian. It would be a shame if that was how his never-ending career would actually come to an end, because he's got more lives than a fucking cat in the Cup Series. There's no question about that.
While he was a factor on Saturday, Kyle Larson was not really that much of a factor on Sunday, and he ended up just not having a good car and ended up wrecking all by himself.
It looked kind of like Bubba's wreck in practice. Just kind of lost the rear end.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that whole incident was he then came to rest on the inside wall and was stuck on it and trying to drive back to the pits while stuck on the inside wall, and he was just thudding off of it. It got a good cackle out of me.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
So yeah, now we can talk about Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, yet again, had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Just all fucking
not entirely.
Day. Not entirely, but I mean, he had a good. He started well. He qualified in the top 10, and he was running top 15, top 10 most of the day.
Yeah, it was finally Andy Street coming in there on top of the box, and it seems like instant results for them.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, he is still just a nonstop bitch fest on the radio. And going back to the whole, Friday to Sunday deal, I checked into his radio a handful of times over the race, and even when he had, I forget what happened. It was he ended up a lap down for a good portion of the truck race. He got his lap back in stage 2, but even when that happened, he was still calm and collected on the radio, and he was not acting like he's acting on Sunday. He was composed and, still performing. But Sunday, just Jesus Christ. He was bitching about Hocevar, and Hocevar, I saw the in-car clip, and Hocevar was not even really, he didn't touch him. He was kind of like moving around his line a little bit and maybe side drafting maybe too hard, but Kyle wasn't getting loose. You can see the in-car footage, and Kyle's just driving along on the inside. He's just bitching about Hocevar, and then I think his spotter tried to calm him down, and Kyle goes back, okay, psych major, put some ice in your crotch or something. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then, he ends up at the end of the race getting into it with John Hunter Nemechek. Basically, last lap, or maybe the lap before, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
but,
two to go.
Yeah, last couple laps. Coming out of 2, Kyle's on the inside, Nemechek's on the outside, and Nemechek is not running against the wall. He's a couple feet off the wall. But Kyle, he's running on the inside and just kind of goes up and almost clears himself off of his nose and, clips John's bumper and gets into the wall. And, after the race, he's talking about, guys got to know who they're driving around, and he should have been up higher. And it's well, he wasn't. And why the fuck did you do that? And afterwards on Twitter, some kid brought up 5 or 6 different clips of Kyle doing this. And today on Twitter, somebody found another clip from Sunday of him doing the exact same thing to Brad Keselowski, just not as hard, and they were both able to keep going. So this is a Kyle Busch problem as far as I'm concerned. Denny explained it on his podcast that Kyle races really well and uses markers. Kyle talked about the hash marks on the racetrack, and that's what he was using to race, and he didn't see Nemechek above him, and the spotter the whole time is telling him, car high, and he still fucking did it. Still cleared himself off the nose and got to the wall. And then a lap later, they go into 3, and Kyle just, I don't know if he couldn't actually turn or what, but just fucking doors it into Nemechek, and they both go to the wall.
I think you could have turned just fine.
Probably could have, but I mean, who knows? But yeah, they both ended up from going 12th, 13th to in the 20s. So again, just killed his own fucking day. And this is where I don't know what Kyle's gonna do next year. But this type of stuff, not just the on-track incidents, but the attitude and the way he's communicating with his team, who the fuck is going to want to put him in a car? What better opportunity is he going to have? I don't think he's going to want to go to Legacy now. I'm sure he wants to get a Spire car, but there's no room at Spire unless McDowell retires, and I don't necessarily see that happening. Suarez is doing well. Obviously, Carson's not going anywhere.
I mean, there's plenty of guys that are kind of waiting in the wings. Say if Bowman decided he wasn't coming back, or Hendrick decided that Bowman wasn't coming back,
before we even say that, Bowman actually is 3 weeks back. He's had 2 straight top 3 finishes. He's actually back on track, which is great.
But I think a lot of people have kind of, anytime Bowman bumps his head or steps out of the car the wrong way, everyone's oh, it's gonna be, that's Busch's ride next year. Oh, here comes Carson Hocevar, or whatever the fuck. And that would be the only really good ride that would maybe even consider having him back, just based on the math and who I mean, Kyle's not going back to Gibbs. There's no question about that. So
yeah.
And I don't think when you got a guy who is going to melt down like that and is reminding everybody that, oh yeah, he's kind of an asshole. Some of us haven't forgotten. Seems like a lot of people have, but some of us haven't forgotten about that. And then you've got, say, and I'm just going to name some names, like a Corey Haim or any of these other folks coming through the ranks. Brent Cruz is a little young, but I don't know. He could snatch his ass from Toyota.
Yeah, you've got.
There's money. Toyota fucking sucks at hanging on to their talent. There's so many people that are hanging around out there that could be in there. Not to mention, Raja or Corey Day or any of these people that are ultimately going to end up in that ride eventually.
Jesse Love's already been rumored to get the legacy ride, so
Yeah, there's no musical chair left for a cranky old man. As far as I can see.
He's still three or 4 years younger than Denny, but Denny is miles above him performance-wise. And, you can blame RCR for some of that, but Kyle Busch is performing at the same level. They're next to each other in the points, him and Austin Dillon, and it's Kyle Busch. So it's
I don't know. I feel for Kyle as much as I possibly can. I know this car doesn't suit a lot of the old timers all that well, and it's really hard to give good feedback and whatever shit.
Denny's going to argue that point real hard because he's been around just as long, and look what he's doing.
Well, and that's fair, but I just and it's obvious Kyle isn't totally washed, but I don't know. When you're in a situation like that where there's nowhere else to really go, you got to wonder maybe if you owe a few edible arrangements to the guys at the shop as an olive branch, particularly Derek Nealand, because that poor guy.
Yeah.
Fucking punching bag.
And I know he wants to wait for his kid, but maybe it's time. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's maybe it's time to just drop down to the trucks, get your Triple Crown, and be done with it. Because I don't know where he goes after this, or what opportunities he's going to have, but he's not making a case for anybody for next year.
Yeah, but I mean, again, where else is there? Maybe Spire, right? Because again, Suarez is on a 1-year contract, so
but I don't
not to
think
get too bogged down on a silly season discussion here. But
Suarez he's doing too good. They're not going to get rid of him. It's working there, so I don't see that happening.
He's running. I don't know. It's just there's just nowhere to go. So
yeah.
Better turn that frown upside down. Enjoy the drive to welcome.
I think he does need a psych major.
Yeah.
Personally.
If anybody does, he fucking does. Jesus Christ.
Wasn't Hirschman his old spotter? He was a psych major, had a psych degree or something like that.
Oh, I have no idea. I'll take your word for it.
That's worth looking up.
So yeah.
Did we talk about how he didn't get penalized?
Yeah, and he didn't
get penalized. Yeah,
he didn't get penalized. Which is dog shit. If you're gonna penalize one of them, you gotta penalize them both, as far as I'm concerned.
So yeah, once again, the lesson from NASCAR is if you're gonna fucking dump somebody, just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the actual race itself, I would say of the 3 races, it was the worst race, but that's discrediting. It was still a good race.
It's fine. Yeah.
It was just not nearly as good as the other 2. I would say Texas is back as far as the last 2 years. The Cup race has been pretty good. The other races have been good. So I think the stigma of Texas being a track nobody wants to go to or race at anymore is gone.
Well, those grandstands are pretty full, and they claimed a sellout.
Yeah,
that's what they said.
So
we don't need to scrap it and turn it to Atlanta 2.0.
Yeah, please.
Just leave it.
Please
leave it.
Yeah, it's working.
Don't.
But yeah, going back to the race itself and finishing. Denny Hamlin did his best to try to chase down Chase Elliott, but was unable to do so. Chase Elliott gets his 2nd win of the season. He's the only Hendrick driver to win this year, which is pretty crazy to think about, but I guess that'll happen when one guy wins half the season so far.
It's not like there's been many for the taking there.
Yeah, but Truelove's driver did it, and that's about all I have to say about it. So let Truelove.
Dick Stomp.
I was finally happy. I mean, I knew after watching the truck race winner and then the O'Reilly winner, I was like, it can't get any worse, because I was like, Hocevar's not going to win Sunday. And I was like, Larson hasn't won in over a year. I was like, it can only go up. I was like, it's going to be Elliott's day. And then he won a stage, led the most laps, and is the first driver to win 2 races this year besides Reddick. So,
yep.
3rd in points now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the season, you got to say the top three are going to be the top three contenders for the title. I don't know who else is going to pick their season around. I mean, obviously Larson or Byron or one of those guys could, turn things around and become a contender. And who knows, maybe somebody will have a Tony Stewart run in the playoffs. But, I got to say the top three right now are definitely the championship contenders for sure.
Blaney's definitely been having a rough past couple weeks and moving down the point scale. With Chase winning, we also got to see Jeff Gordon in victory lane wearing what I can only describe as a sushi chef coat. I don't know what was up with that, but he needs to go back to the fleece vest.
So are you, is your anger with Alan Gustafson, is that subsiding a little bit?
We're on good terms for the time being.
Yeah, it's still week to week.
Still pit call to pit call. If he had brought Chase in on that last one to get tires, then we would be beefing right now.
I was hoping for that. That's all I wanted, but then I would have given it to Denny, and that would have pissed me off too.
Yeah,
But yeah, that wraps it up. But now it's time for the fantasy league roundup. I know Rob was he thought his day was in the toilet, but he actually ended up with a decent finish. This was weird because a lot of us who were playing, it seems like everybody had at least one of their drivers fall out. At some point. Even me, I took Bell out early, but still Briscoe, he only finished 20th, but, regardless. Anyways, Truelove, take it away.
Our big winner this weekend was Little Michael. It's a good week for him. He got a lot of points.
Absolute dick stomp. He killed everybody.
I think second place, he was like 40 points above them or something.
Yeah.
Which second place was Andy Newsom himself. Third place, I don't think I've gotten to read this name on the air yet, but it's Gisburger with cheese. I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not sure either. Maybe that's actually one of the people I got in the group.
It might be. Ask your friends. But yeah, third, and then Brian fourth. Rob had a 3 white tie for 6th, and I was way back in 17th because I had like 3 or 4 of my drivers caught up in bullshit. So. Not a great week for me.
Garfield's feet bringing up the rear. I haven't said that name in a little while.
Overall points, we still got Flavortown McLeod leading. Little Michael with his big win has moved up to 2nd. He wasn't even on the charts last week, which moves Chris Davis down another position this week to 3rd.
Damn.
Yeah, rough couple weeks for Chris. Brian's still in 4th. I have dropped a spot to 8th, and Rob is holding down 12th still. So
yeah, with Greg and Chris Davis having bad days, the top 5 really tightened up. I think it's only like 50-something points between all of us. So
I think you're only 4 points behind Chris right now. So
yeah, good day for us. Well, good day for me and Rob.
I guess so. I hadn't looked at it since I got mad and closed the app. So, telling you, don't look at it and good shit happens.
Oh, yeah, might be the trick.
Moving on to general notes, we got to start off with some sad news.
Yes.
The great Alex ZANARDI passed away due to complications, I believe, from his 2020 bicycle accident. Alex, I've never been a massive IndyCar fan, but, my uncle, who was the one who took me to all the races and stuff and was really into racing of all types, I was aware of IndyCar, and granted, at the time, I didn't really comprehend the split, but I'd seen plenty of IndyCar stuff during Alex and Jimmy Vassar's, run at the top over there, and somehow I remember seeing The Pass live.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
know how the hell I saw that live, but I saw that live. Drove an F1 after his wreck where he lost both of his legs, became a Paralympian, and just killed it in that too. And
gold medals, championships.
Yeah.
Ended up driving a car again and also winning races with hand controls. Just, this guy is... he's the toughest motherfucker there ever was. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big ZANARDI fan as a kid. He was kind of one of the new guys when I was during that golden age of kart when I started watching. You know, Mario Andretti had just retired. Michael had just come back from F1, and you know, there's a lot of new faces in there, and ZANARDI was one of them. And when he started picking off wins, I was definitely stoked on that. And whoever was in the target car, definitely he helped to bring Ganassi to the championship level that it's still at.
Oh yeah.
And you know, sadly, his Formula One career didn't go so well. He actually did the reverse Jacques Villeneuve. He started off in Formula One, started with Lotus, had a rough time. The team folded. He came over to kart. Almost didn't get that ride, but I think after a test, they decided to give him a shot, and he set the world on fire, won a couple titles, and fucked off back to Formula One, where it didn't go all that well. And yeah, of course, came back to kart, where he had his incident, and we've already talked about all the other stuff. But yeah, this guy just my favorite thing about Alex is the fact that he never seemed to display any sort of negative attitude about his situation. Like, whatever it was in, no matter how bad it got, he always, I won't call it a sunny side necessarily, but it just seemed like you couldn't get him down. And like, there were no setbacks. It was just, you know, where do we go from here anytime something would happen? And he had a few of them. He had a couple big bike wrecks, and you know, obviously the wreck where he lost his legs was the most devastating. But I mean, every single time he fought his way back, and I just can't think of a bigger hero out there than ZANARDI. So that was it was tough to hear that he was gone, especially at such a young age. And I think a lot of people who were around during that time feel exactly the same way. It's a damn shame.
Also passing away, unfortunately, was MERLE Bettenhausen.
Yes.
So catch me up to speed on him. I know the Bettenhausen name, but don't know much about MERLE.
He was son of Tony Bettenhausen, brother of Gary Bettenhausen and Tony Jr. I think MERLE's name was probably the least recognizable out of the racers in the family, but he won a bunch of USAC features and champ car races and all that. Ended up losing an arm in a crash in the 70s. Got a prosthetic and continued to win races after that. So again, another
very weird coincidence.
Kind of a similar tale, and he stuck around in racing till pretty much the end. And if you guys have not seen the Flow Racing documentary about the Bettenhausens, I highly recommend that you check it out. That is not behind the paywall. That's on YouTube. That family went through a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and like ZANARDI, they all stuck around and really made something out of it and left a huge mark. And you know, he was 82. He led a very long life, and he was on the other side of the wall from pretty much the 80s on, I believe, selling tires and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Another giant, another well-loved guy in the sport, and of course the Bettenhausens are a legendary family, and definitely a shame that he's gone as well. Although MERLE definitely got a few years on old Alex there, but nonetheless, we'll miss him just the same.
Yeah. I'm gonna play with the notes here a little bit. Let's get all the bad stuff out of the way first.
Okay.
While we're
bad?
talking about
we got more bad. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So
I thought Carson Hocevar going to the Met Gala was bad enough.
Yeah, we'll get to that. In Colombia, at a some sort of monster truck event. This is the second time this has happened in about a decade, but there was a monster truck that lost control and went into a crowd of fans, killing 3 and injuring 30 others. I didn't really get. It's very weird. The monster truck community on Facebook is kind of quiet about this, just because it's tragic. And the news reports said that there was a mechanical failure. My guess, my educated guess from the incident that happened in Mexico 10 years ago, the truck that was being driven was kind of a stage 1 leaf truck, like a Jeep monster truck that was very much technically outdated. What happened in the Mexico wreck was the driver took a bad bump and hit his head and knocked himself out, and that's what happened. He went into the crowd. That's my guess as to what happened here. At least in America and in North America in general, any monster truck sanctioning body, all the trucks have kill switches that are controlled by somebody outside the track. Whereas something like this happens, they can kill the motor and stop the truck. Obviously, that was not the case here. Wasn't the case in Mexico. And that led to lost lives. Not to mention the fact that, the fans were right next to there's no barriers, no nothing, or just fucking a couple stacks of cars and guys running them. So it's an unfortunate thing that's happened now twice in the last decade. And, it's not going to change monster trucks here in the United States or North America, but, just a real tragedy when that type of stuff happens. And then the other sad, well, I don't know if it's sad, but just kind of weird to talk about and think about. So the Greg Biffle aftermath of his passing. So there are two notes that came out this week. One, there were warrants issued for the people involved in robbing Greg's house after his death. Turns out these people were friends of his, and not only was his house robbed, but they were hundreds of thousands of dollars, through fraudulent checks and bank transfers taken out of his bank accounts. So that's
within hours of the crash.
Yeah. So some real scumbag shit for someone.
Kaylee Lloyd and Aaron Lloyd. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Former business partners, and apparently Aaron was also his helicopter co-pilot during Hurricane Helene. So,
Oh, Jesus.
That's insane. I mean, to have people that close to you do something like that after you pass away. I mean, it's just hopefully they get the books thrown at them and spend a lot of time in jail.
There was a email sent at 2 a.m. after the crash that said, "I heard you're dead. Rest in hell." So.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? That was insane. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't.
He's not going to read it. That's
Yeah, he's not going to see it. And then
awful.
this is a little more just legal stuff that happens with insurance and all that. But there are a handful of different lawsuits filed involving the plane crash itself. I think some of the families involved that were killed, not Biffle's family. Well, yes and no, Biffle's family, but the family of the other people that were actually flying the planes, they're suing the Biffle estate, and then also his ex-wife, their mutual child was on the plane too. There's a lawsuit there. A lot of this type of stuff that happens, it's involving insurance and all that, but I don't really know what to say about any of that stuff. I mean, it's just, again, all just tragic and sad. And
everyone coming to get their piece.
Yep. All right, so back to more fun stuff to talk about. So after winning 2 races in 5 days and a pole and a top 10 in the Cup race on Sunday, Carson Hocevar was invited to the Met Gala, which is very strange. And just before we recorded, I was watching. Hocevar went on Twitch to talk about this, and he said that somebody at the Met Gala saw the Talladega race, or at least the post-race celebration. They saw his fire suit and they wanted him there. So that's pretty cool, regardless of what you think of the Met Gala or Carson himself. It's pretty cool that someone from this completely different hemisphere saw that and wanted him to come to this event.
I thought it was a joke at first. Honest to God, thought it was a joke. Then I saw the suit and I was just like, maybe not. That's actually a pretty nice looking piece that Carson had on, and then there he was. There he was. And then I just love the juxtaposition that he was at the Met Gala last night and was supposed to be in LaSalle racing a fucking late model tonight.
Yeah.
That is about as far apart, culturally speaking, as you could possibly get.
Yeah, for sure. I will say he's got to do something with his hair. That hair looks awful.
Yeah, that hair. I didn't realize that he had that much of a bowl cut until yesterday, but in that suit, he looked like a 6'4" Ellen DeGeneres to me. So.
Well, now's your time to shine, because I know you had a lot to say about this. So
I mean, I didn't have a lot to say. It was just.
Is this the trough for this week? Are we in the trough?
I guess this is Truelove's piss trough. It's just me bitching about Hocevar at the Met Gala, which is fitting because the Met Gala this year was sponsored by Jeff Bezos, who makes his Amazon warehouse workers piss in bottles while they're on the job. So
I could use a trough.
Yeah, they could use a trough break.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The Met Gala is just, I don't understand it to begin with.
None of us do. So we're all in the same boat there.
Yeah. And it's like, I know NASCAR's reliant on rich people, but this event in itself is just, in particular, is just a gross display of wealth by the richest humans on the Epstein list.
Yeah, it is the list live.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like the list live.
I just didn't understand, like, what was, who is this for, inviting him there? Like, Carson isn't even recognizable walking around NASCAR tracks by his own fans, so this isn't going to make him recognizable to the world, especially when he's looking like I said, Ellen DeGeneres at the Met Gala, and then you show up to Watkins Glen, and he's going to be dressed like a 6'4" Woody from Toy Story. So I just don't know. I didn't understand any of this. It made him even more unrelatable to me, and he's just doing whatever he thinks people want of him, which
well, maybe NASCAR would be a little more popular if other drivers would actually do shit like that. But
yeah,
I don't think this is driving. People aren't going to flock to Watkins Glen this weekend.
God, no.
No, but it speaks to the point of, you know, there's definitely some guys. I mean, Chase Elliott being one of them, that, like, when they're asked to do this type of stuff, not Met Gal, but I mean just stuff outside of the NASCAR world in general, you know, they don't always say yes, and it's part of what we need to grow the sport, or get it back to where it was in some level. And
I mean, Chase isn't going to do anything that's outside of his comfort zone, but he still shows up and does endless fan events every weekend. So
yeah, but I mean, again, you're only catering to the audience that's already there. You're not reaching outside that world, and that's what's going to get more eyes on the product.
I don't want to reach out to this world.
I know you don't, but like, listen, the Met Gala is one thing, but I'm just saying in general, like, doing more things outside of just the NASCAR world. Like, drivers have to do that.
I'm just glad the boys showed up to the Hunger Games looking like a relatively normal person in comparison to, say, Lewis Hamilton, when he showed up looking like a fucking, like, black swan or whatever it was a few years ago.
Well,
what was he wearing? Like, there was feathers involved? I can't remember. I'm going to have to look this up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Lewis's whole, you know, whatever. Yeah. Lewis was not there, apparently. Carson did say that, and he did not say if he met Sabrina Carpenter or not. He was incredibly coy about that and would not answer it. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see them.
He didn't. He's just trying to keep the mystique alive. But I saw people saying, like, oh, he'll be hosting SNL next week. I'm like, Gordon had to win 4 championships before he was hosting SNL. This kid's won one race. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I mean, that's fair.
So Lewis Hamilton last year just had on a beret.
And nothing else.
just a beret. No, I think he walked into the pits in Italy or something wearing some crazy looking dress.
Oh, he's always got some crazy shit on.
Like, I remember that being the Met Gala because it was definitely wild. But nope, he just looks kind of like a dictator from Borat. So I
gotta Google it.
Retract my comment.
Let's see. So ARCA races happened at Nashville and Shasta, wherever the fuck that is, and I didn't see half a second of any of these races, so I don't know what happened.
Well, hold on. I'm trying to Google what Lewis Hamilton looks like. Oh, yeah, it's a beret. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched both ARCA races. The one in Nashville Fairgrounds was obviously ARCA East. Max Reeves led every race, or led every lap from the pole. So
Yeah. Boy, that interview was something special, too.
that was that. I did see Landon S. Huffman for the first time. He looks quite different from the other Landon Huffman. A little young, curly, blonde-headed, baby-faced. Those are my ARCA East notes. ARCA West.
Oh, yeah, he does look a lot different, doesn't he?
Very different. They were at Shasta. That race didn't start until 11:30 Eastern time, and I think it wrapped up at like almost 1 a.m. And it was Trevor Huddleston led every lap except for one from the pole. So Haley Deegan was in that race. She finished 7th. That's the ARCA report.
Very
Shitty.
Yeah. Let's see here. Where else? This weekend, NASCAR's in Watkins Glen, and Destiny Spurlock is going to make her Truck Series debut. She's moving up the ladder pretty quick, but she's actually been performing well, and good for her. I have nothing bad to say about her at all. Also, in at least trying to make the race will be Natalie Decker for some reason, so hopefully she doesn't make the race, and nobody has to worry about that.
And not making the race will be child TV star Frankie Muniz.
Nope. I said this last week that this is absolutely Frankie Muniz's last year in NASCAR. I did not expect that to come to fruition this quickly, but apparently he's racing some sports car race somewhere else, and he's actually contending for a championship there. So
Yeah, that's
weird
going
that they
pretty well
made.
for him. He's down at Sebring, I think.
Yeah, weird for them to make this type of decision this late, but I mean, we all know Frankie's not going to do shit at the truck race, so might as well put somebody in the truck that might have a better chance of performing. So
Yeah, who that
but yeah,
is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Caden Teenager is in the truck this weekend.
Yep.
I did see that all 3 Trackhouse drivers are competing in the triple this weekend.
Yep.
They need all the help they can get right now.
Yeah. And then finally, CW gives us streaming, but not how we asked. Apparently, there was some deal made between CW and ESPN to show the CW broadcast through the ESPN streaming service, which it doesn't affect me at all. But
Well, it's not even like ESPN, it's ESPN Unlimited,
yeah, I don't
which
know
is
what that
$30 a month. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't help me in the slightest.
yeah. And
but-
we will no longer get free practice and qualifying on the CW.
Oh, that's bullshit. I didn't even know that part. That sucks. Well,
DD12 streams, folks. Look it up.
yes. I was gonna say I didn't know if we wanted to shout that out, but it is definitely.
No one listens. It's fine. Yeah, DD12. Just put that in your browser. See what
Yeah,
happens.
it's a very, very good resource. At least for the big races, no dirt or anything like that. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the notes, and it's time for the DARF of the week.
Yes, and the Talladega camping groups just keep giving us fertile ground to to harvest from. This week is a guy named Jerry Fuller. This came several days after Talladega, and I guess he's just thinking about his weekend or trying to remember it. And he says in the Talladega Super Speedway Camping and Tailgating Group, and again, as always, I'm going to try and read this as it's typed, so wish me luck. Think I seen some music people posted on Boulevard. First time going to Boulevard, like country music, rock music. First comment is, what the fuck are you even trying to discuss or ask? And then somebody also posted a link to Alcoholics Anonymous in Birmingham, which I thought was great.
I would say that that's his punishment, is having to attend a couple weeks of AA meetings.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we could give him that would make it worse. So I think he's doing just fine on his own out there in the world.
Make him listen to something that's not country music or rock music.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it is time to dive into the septic tank.
Yes, it is. Not a shallow one this weekend. I didn't get to watch as much short track racing as I wanted to because the fucking rain came pretty much everywhere imaginable. Yeah. So we'll start with what did happen. Actually, I was going to say High Limit's the first thing I was going to talk about. My Arrowhead got rained out on Tuesday, which is a bummer. That's a beautiful facility. I was actually planning on trying to go to that one before I started working at Claremont. And looks like the good Lord kept me from wasting money on a plane ticket. Not that seeing my folks is a waste of money, but I would have been extra spicy if I didn't get to go out to Arrowhead and see the big dogs from High Limit on what is essentially my home track in Arkansas. But anyway, they were at Texas over the weekend. Kyle Larson picked up a win on night one. Aaron Reitzel picking up the big win on Saturday night in front of a packed crowd full of NASCAR fans, lots of friends of the program on the property. Alex Hammett was out there celebrating his birthday, which, by the way, happy birthday to you, good sir. Also, my buddy Tyler was out there. I don't think Ross made it over, did he?
Not that I saw.
I think Josh Davis was trying to air traffic control some people over there. I think Ross actually had to go make dinner for everybody and get prepped for Sunday.
He was doing lots of prep.
But there was a good collection of folks out there to see local favorite Aaron Reitzel pick up a win in front of a packed crowd. Love to see that. I was actually, again, something else I was planning on trying to go to if it wasn't for Claremont, but unfortunately I could not celebrate Alex's 30-something birthday. That kid's ageless. Who the fuck knows? The World of Outlaws were supposed to be at Attica and Sharon, but that got rained out. But we do have some outlaw action to talk about because the race that I was watching as we were doing this podcast out at Lincoln just wrapped up, and Buddy Kofoid picked up a big win at the line. Very exciting stuff right there. Almost gave that one away, as he tends to do, but that's not the case tonight. Buddy Kofoid picking up yet another win and establishing himself as, he's not a future star. He is a fucking star already. World of Outlaw late models. Where the hell were they? The Dairyland Showdown. That's right. Bobby Pierce and Nick Hoffman picking up wins on the prelim nights, and then Ryan Gustin, the Reaper. Ryan Gustin picking up the big Dairyland 100 win on Saturday night. Lucas Oil.
Dairy booths, like ice cream, cheeses, what are we talking?
The Dairyland Showdown. Mm-hmm. I imagine this would be cheese up in Wisconsin.
A lot of cow milking.
See, now you got to get a job putting fan zones together because that's what we need to see. I feel like it was just the usual trailers and maybe a cow from the FFA sitting out there, but I don't know. I wasn't there, but nice weekend of racing out there. That's always a good event, and excited to see the Reaper get a big win. Lucas Oil returned to action at Circle City. Ricky Thornton Jr. Finally getting another win there. That was good to see. Hudson O'Neill picking up a win at Florence. On the asphalt side of things, on Sunday alongside the Texas Cup race, we had the American-Canadian Tour up at Thunder Road, and Gabe Brown systematically laid out all of the dicks of the other competitors on the front stretch and flattened them sufficiently. Nobody had anything for Gabe Brown. Started 12th and just due to the invert and just methodically worked his way through the field and absolutely whooped their asses. Also, shout out to DJ Shaw. DJ Shaw had to fight his way through the B main, or the LCQ rather, into the show, and I think he ended up getting a top 10 out of the deal. That's tough to do at Thunder Road. That's a tough racetrack. Recommend watching that replay on Flow if you got it. NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour is supposed to be also in Maine over the weekend at Oxford Plains, but that got rained out. Moved to June 6th, I think, was the makeup date, somewhere around there, which is potentially good news for Justin Bonsignor and the Keith Massa Motorsports team, because they announced that, and this is shocking news here. 51 team announced that they were going to be skipping Oxford and Seekonk coming up due to reasons. They didn't exactly say what it was. There's a lot of speculation. It seems like money might have something to do with it. Maybe something with the team. It's not Justin's choice, that's for sure.
The video policies.
Yeah, the Seekonk video policy, which we'll get to in a minute. There has been an update on that front, but I mean, this would be like Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and take Watkins Glen off because we don't have the money.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, Justin Bonsignor, a multi-time champion of the series, always a contender for race wins. This year, if you don't count Speed Weeks, a little rough for them. Definitely a little down on pace. It seems like something is definitely up with that team. But, yeah, crazy not to see Ken Massa and the guys out there. That's it just isn't the same. So hopefully they get their stuff together, and obviously Seacock they'll be taking off, but hopefully they'll be able to be back for the makeup day for Oxford.
You should go to the Met Gala and rub some elbows.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Look for some
Bring the
handouts.
old Phoenix truck down there and set up the onions and pepper station they had at Thompson right behind me. Speaking of Seaconk, they did clarify that video policy after getting absolutely flogged, tarred and feathered on the internet. Apparently we can take videos and post them on the internet. They just don't want people taking full videos of races and posting them on the internet because they have broadcast partners.
Which is absolutely not what they said in the first post.
It seems like that's pretty easy to point out initially, but yeah. I guess the risk of another pumpkin smash video getting out there is worth the risk rather than having everyone cuss you on the internet and tell you how stupid you are, which they were stupid for the original policy. But yep, go ahead and film all the content you want at Seaconk, and maybe I'll be doing the same exact thing in a couple weeks here. That is a cool little racetrack. I recommend going there. Speaking of racetracks that need a little bit of help, Greenville Pickens. I can't believe we really haven't talked about this very much on the show.
No.
That track has been in the it's been closed for a little bit here, but it has been in the fight of its life for the past few months, facing a similar situation as the Nashville Fairgrounds, maybe on a smaller scale because it's not in the middle of a major city. But similar tale you've heard with short tracks. A developer has his eyes on the land, wants to put up a fucking Sephora or whatever the fuck nonsense they would build there, and has gotten an out-of-towner, I was going to say congressman, a city council person, that's what you would say. And they've put together this whole campaign and got all the NIMBYs in the neighborhood to come together and act like the Speedway is an affront to their existence. And there's been quite the fight. I know our friend Matthew Dillner has been heavily involved going to these meetings, as well as other people involved with the Speedway when it was operational, trying to save this place. And they actually got a pretty decent victory out of the deal. I believe it was last night, maybe a couple nights ago. But Greenville Pickens, it did receive, let me read the exact language here. They've cleared the way to create a committee to save the Speedway, which is it doesn't sound like much, but that is definitely a step in the right direction. And then the council in April approved that the track is a historical landmark. So there are protections going in place here. It's going to be a lot more difficult for these people to come in and put an Amazon warehouse in or a fucking golf course or whatever nonsense they're trying to put it in place of Greenville Pickens. So that's good news.
That's great.
It's a long fight ahead. You know, this is definitely a victory, but definitely not the end of it. But certainly a little pinprick of sunshine in the proceedings, and I'm very happy to hear that. That's a legendary racetrack, and of course that was where the first televised Cup race ever took place, amongst 1,000 other things that that have a very important place in racing history. So glad to see the Greenville Pickens might live to see another day. Again, no idea if it's actually going to return to being a full-on racing facility or not, but it does have protections now, and that's great news. And we're going to keep talking about this on the show as they progress into the throes of this battle against the city council there. But it seems like they have more support than maybe we all thought. So that's great news.
For sure. Now, a little news for me here. I'm very excited about this. So it was announced today that Christopher Bell is going to be running his first big block modified race next week at Georgetown Speedway in Delaware. You know, as a precursor to the probably the worst all-star race of NASCAR history at Dover. But also he's driving for Stuart Friesen, which isn't really a surprise since he drives his trucks. But also in the race, T-Mac, Tim McCready. This will be, I can't remember the last time he drove a big block, but I'm very excited for that. And Bobby Pierce and Nick Hoffman will also be in the race, too, which is very cool. And for some reason, they have Donnie Allison as the Grand Marshal. Don't ask me why. Don't understand.
He's
that,
bringing the
but,
folding table. He's going to be sitting out there like he does.
Yep, that's what he does.
But unfortunately, this race is 8 hours for me, so I will not be attending, but I will be absolutely watching on Dirt Vision that night. So
Yeah,
very
Delaware's
excited.
a little far, but
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a ton of racing coming up this weekend. Of course, the Flow Racing Night in America series is running all week this week. It was supposed to be at LaSalle tonight, but unfortunately that got rained out. But Spruce River and Lincoln are all on the docket for the rest of the week, so a little midweek show for the boys and girls. Also, for all you Carson Hocevar fans, he's going to be running them all. That's right. He's out there in the Spire late model. He's going to be running the entire Flow Racing Night in America series, which is cool. So several more midweek events throughout the rest of the year, but of course this is a big chunk of them happening this week. Hopefully Mother Nature plays nice.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil Series is going to be at Farmer City and Fairbury. World of Outlaws are going to be at the Grove this weekend for the Morgan Cup. I was there last year. The Grove fucking rips. That's a killer event. Make sure you tune in. Also get to see Casey Kane out there and Anthony Macri's 39M. You got a top 10 tonight. Not bad.
Hell yeah.
Not bad. High Limit's going to be at Kokomo for the Brian Clausen Memorial. I got to tune in and watch that. Pay your respects to one of the greatest of all time. USAC Silver Crown is going to be at the Kansas Fairgrounds, which is pretty cool. Cars Tour is going to be at Ace. Check out Buddy Pulley on tour for that, because I probably won't watch that shit, respectfully. Also, the Race of Champions Modifieds are going to be at Shangri-La over the weekend, and that's just a small sampling of what's available for the taking this weekend. So,
Are there any more spectator drags coming up for people to destroy their cars in?
I don't know. What was that Colorado National, that video that went
think
viral?
so.
That guy just absolutely doing the wrong thing when he lost control of his truck. Instead of turning into it, he just tried to correct it and, yeah, tank slapped the shit out of it. That was great.
That was great.
Our spectator drags at Claremont went pretty well. There weren't too many fireworks there. And that also took about an hour less than I expected it to take. I thought that was going to be most of my night, but it wasn't. So, but yeah,
I feel like it's a bad idea to take your regular commuter car into one of those things.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea for me. And all the fans at home. Also, yeah, Claremont this weekend, we got the Outlaw Late Models coming back. So Friday night on pitrow.tv. Check it out. And that's the septic tank for this week. We'll go ahead and flush it down. And then we'll take a look at a couple of things that could have come from spectator drags in our Video of the Week segment. But actually, this is real professional racing as dramatized by a popular television show in the 90s. So, whoosh.
All right, so Video of the Week this week, we have two segments from episodes of Rescue 911, which was a show hosted by William Shatner and aired on CBS in the early 90s. I know last week I mentioned that a lot of the episodes featured a lot of dramatization of these incidents that they depict on the show, but there was minimal dramatizations because these were actual real racing events, and there happened to be cameras around for a lot of this stuff. So the first one up, we're gonna talk about the funny car clip. So this was a race that took place at Bandimere Speedway in Denver, Colorado in 1989. Starts off with Steve Evans, who we've talked about him before. He was a Diamond P Motorsports announcer. He did monster trucks, NASCAR, drag racing, all sorts of stuff in the 80s and 90s. And he had to have been on track that day. Makes sense why he's there. But he kind of starts off just kind of explaining, Bandimere was closed down for a year, and they weren't sure if it was going to be reopened because I guess there was a lot of construction stuff going on around the track. But this was the return to the track in 1989. It was a pretty joyous event. A lot of drivers, a lot of big crowd. Like, everybody was excited to be there. We see a lot of cool clips and footage of, a lot of top stars of the 80s at that point. Don Perdome is featured pretty heavily in this because he ended up helping rescue the driver, but not to get ahead of ourselves. We get to see a clip of Bruce Larson racing Jim White. Steve he kind of explains how the racing, staging and breakdown of the event itself, and just, to explain to the non-racing fans out there. We get to see Mark Oswald race John Force. But then the actual wreck came when Don Prudhomme raced a young guy named Don Gay Jr. Very unfortunate name here, but he is the son of Don Gay, who was another drag racer from the 60s and 70s, I believe. This was his first ever race, and in his first round, he was facing Don Prudhomme, and Don being one of his favorite drivers, he was obviously very excited and nervous about this, and he wanted to beat one of his heroes. The only real dramatization in this clip is there's a brief shot of like a driver getting suited up to go out, and obviously that is supposed to be Don there. But we showed the clip of the race, and both cars end up smoking the tires, but Don Gay, he wanted to still beat his hero, so he kept on the gas after smoking the tires, and he ended up hitting the wall and knocking himself out. And everyone was confused because, he crashed and his car starts to catch on fire, but he doesn't hit the chute. He doesn't stop the car at all. He's just rolling along. Like, you see the safety crew almost chase him down the track because he just doesn't stop. The car's on fire, and the motor ends up exploding, and that's pretty crazy. And again, this is all the actual footage. Like, the camera was there the whole time. So, the safety crew gets there, which they call the safety safari, which was the touring safety crew that went to all the NHRA races. They end up getting to the car. Don Prudhomme himself, he actually helped because he explains it. He was still suited up. He still had all his safety gear on, and so unlike a lot of the workers, they're jumping into this hot car that's still on fire. Don was actually able to reach down and unclip his seatbelts and help pull him out of the car. And we see close-up footage of all this stuff happening. He's not conscious when they get him out of the car. They end up hitting him with some oxygen, some sort of oxygen burst system they have or something, almost like a different form of CPR, I guess. But they end up getting him back to consciousness, and he was able to recognize Don Prudhomme right away, which is a good sign. He obviously had some burns, but the burns weren't really the issue. They said it was only 10% of his body. I mean, there were second and third degree burns, but not that bad. But yeah, he was concussed, and I think they were more worried about the smoke inhalation. Obviously the nitromethane and all the burning components and all that stuff. Like, when you breathe that in, that's incredibly toxic shit. But also in the midst of this, obviously his dad was there because he was driving his dad's car, but his grandparents were also there because, again, this was his first ever race. And the grandparents roll up in their fucking Buick, and Grandma gets out there, and she's just calm as can be, just like speaking to her grandson and letting the guys do their thing, but like not getting in the way and not freaking out. And that was pretty wild to see.
Drag racing people are built different, man.
Yeah. But yeah, he ended up surviving. He ended up being fine. He was in the hospital for 11 days, and but he obviously made it out just fine. Don gets interviewed, and he mentions that he should have let off, but he wanted to beat his hero, so that's why he stayed on the gas and led to the aftermath. They obviously credit the safety safari for keeping him alive. And at the end of this clip, he talks about going back and forth about wanting to race again, but his family was hesitant to let him do it again, and he never got back in the car. So this was his only attempt at drag racing, and it did not go very well. So, but everybody survived, and it was an interesting clip to watch. So
made it on TV.
Yeah. I enjoyed this. This is the first time I watched Rescue 911, maybe ever.
What?
But,
Really?
I never watched it as a kid. Like, I was like scared of it. Like, I just never watched it.
Yeah, I love most of the intros to this show is just William Shatner walking around. the call center where all the 911s calls are coming in, and just like
trying to do their jobs.
Yeah, the mental image of him just hanging out in there for days on end, just checking in, no fucking business being there. That always cracked me up as a kid and as a 40-year-old man. So, but wait,
Right.
there's more, folks.
Yeah. I'll just talk after we do the second one. It's the same show.
All right. So the second clip we watched was from the 1990 ARCA 200. This clip starts off with just a montage of different crashes. I don't know if they're from the race or just Daytona in general, but they say that it had been a really nice, quiet race. Meanwhile, only 16 of 40 cars ended up finishing the race, so I don't think that was true.
Quiet for ARCA.
Yeah. So the incident happens. Car 95 of Slick Johnson wrecks and causes a massive pileup. The race director, who I didn't catch his name, but he ended up sending the EMTs out, even though cars were still racing back to the caution flag, which was a very bad idea in hindsight. So the safety workers get over to what turns out to be not Slick Johnson's car, but Kevin Gundaker, father of Gordy Gundaker. Mm-hmm. They get to his car first, and what happens is the cars, again, are still racing to the caution, and Bob Keselowski spins down the track and manages to perfectly hit Kevin Gundaker's car, while this guy, Mike Stanley, is at his window attending to him. This sends Mike, up in the air, flipping around. The cars come to a stop, and Mike is kind of half underneath Bob Keselowski's car. And obviously this is a pretty dire situation. Turns out let's see here. To me, it seems like some of this is dramatized because it didn't look like there was a camera that close to the actual incident. I mean, there were cameras down there, but not like up close and personal like some of the shots in this clip show you. Whoever's doing the voiceover says the car may have been going 160 miles an hour, which I guess could be true since they were, racing back to the caution there. Mike ended up getting a compound fracture of his arm. The clip mentions the other driver in critical condition, which again wasn't in this particular clip that we're watching, just the crash itself. Slick Johnson ended up passing away after this race, unfortunately. But again, he wasn't involved in this particular incident. Being that the safety crew was already there, they were able to get to him in like 17 seconds, they said, and they immediately helicoptered him out of the track. He wasn't in as bad a shape as you would think. Again, his arm was broken pretty badly, but he was awake and alert. So, that was obviously a good sign. The race never aired. This because of this wreck and, Slick Johnson's death and just the general calamity of the race. Like, this was supposed to be aired on ESPN on a tape delay, and they just never showed it. This is one of the handful of lost media races that who knows will ever see the light of day.
Except for on Rescue 911.
Yeah. So Mike almost lost his arm, but he didn't because, he talks about that would have ruined his career if he did. You see him in the hospital with a bunch of drawings from kids. He gets emotional talking about different paramedics that he trained with reaching out to him. He ended up making a full recovery. At the time of this clip, he was still rehabbing and trying to get back to his job. In my research after this, he never ended up getting cleared to work as a paramedic again. He ended up suing ARCA and won a $750,000 settlement because of, sending him out on the track while their car is still actively racing. And he blamed the track director for doing that. And never worked again as a paramedic. He ended up doing safety seminars and speaking engagements and that type of stuff, but survived, but never worked again. So I would say this one was arguably, I don't know if it's, I guess, the more dramatic of the two clips, but
I would say so.
Yeah.
But
Lots of drama.
By a little bit, yeah.
But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both the clips. Again, weird, dark times, but thankfully, the main subjects all survived. I mean, unfortunately, Slick Johnson didn't. But I don't know. That's Rescue 911. What do you guys think?
I mean, like I said last week, Rescue 911 was one of, if not my favorite show as a child. I was obsessed with the show. Anytime it was on, I had to watch it. Loved this show as a child. Also have not watched this show since I was a child, so rewatching it last night, I was like, what the fuck was I watching as a child? Because unlike the video from last week, they didn't blur out any of the wrecks or the guy flailing through the air 25 feet.
Oh, yeah,
or,
yeah.
Almost burning alive inside the funny car. And I also remember as a kid, too, like if we would have a substitute teacher that would roll in a TV, we would watch Rescue 911 a lot of times, too.
That is so weird.
I watched that on sub days as well. Yeah, or rain days when recess was rained out. Yeah, definitely.
So
just traumatized children.
The 90s just hit different, I guess. But now I want to go on YouTube and just watch a bunch more Rescue 911. So
they're out there. There's plenty out there for you.
Yeah, what a especially that Arca wreck. What a visceral piece of footage that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen I don't recommend looking it up, but the Tom Price Formula One accident where Tom dies, and as well as a safety worker, and the guy kind of ragdolls it in a very similar way. Just absolutely brutal stuff. Again, that's kind of a not forbidden clip in Formula One history, but the fact that the ARCA equivalent was just on fucking CBS or whatever this was. So it's definitely a little shocking, but I hadn't heard the Rescue 911 music in about 30 years, and it's still in my brain, and as soon as I turned the episode off, it left again. So it's all up there. But yeah, like Truelove, I watched a bunch of this when I was a kid, and it scared the fuck out of me. So I kind of bridged the gap between Brian and Truelove here, because I did watch a bunch, but also maybe an anxious ball of nerves to this day. So thank you, Rescue 911. And again, I can't shout out how funny William Shatner's involvement in this is to me. It's just no reason for him to be in that call center.
I also noticed when they were interviewing Mike Staley in the hospital, someone had drawn him like a Olympic medal that said best flip, worst landing.
Also, poor Gundaker just laying out there for like 15 minutes by himself.
It was so dramatic. It's like he climbed out of the car and he was like, what about me, guys? And like stumbled and then just collapsed in the grass and nobody paid attention to him.
I'm sure he was hurting. But yeah,
I'm sure.
Someone ran up to him and then all of a sudden he was just laying there in the grass by himself. Poor guy.
So for this week's video of the week, with the passing of Alex ZANARDI, I wanted to watch something involving him. You would think with someone with kind of a legendary career like him, there'd be more, interesting clips or footage out there, but there really wasn't as much. But I found a couple different documentaries. We're gonna watch the one that I think is more well produced. It's just called "The Tragic Story of Alex ZANARDI." It's a half-hour documentary. So yeah, that a nice little pick me up for next week. But a history lesson. We all need history lessons. So that's next week.
Well, I think Alex's. I already said it, but I think Alex's story is inspiring. So it is a pick me up
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, that wraps up video of the week. And this weekend NASCAR is in Watkins Glen. All 3 series will be there. I was trying to go, but the weather is just dog shit. this is going to go down as a big flop with NASCAR scheduling because, when the schedule was announced last year, this was mentioned that, weather in the Northeast is, even in May, is still a bit of a wild card. And it's going to be, 50s and 60s and rain all weekend. So, yeah, and ticket price, it's like $100 just for general admission. Like, I'm not going to waste my time and money going to stand around in the rain all day. So I will not be in attendance, but we'll all be watching from home. So,
Yes.
So yeah, that is the show. As always, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at meetmeatapplebees. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
It's still Snake Mountain, Truelove. I probably won't be watching the Truck or Xfinity race live because I'll be at Road Atlanta this weekend for my first time, seeing Formula Drift and Grid Life. So my first professional drift event and my first trip to Road Atlanta. And Andy has made a late addition to Grid Life, so he will be drifting in that with the same car that he ran a full season of Formula Drift with in 2005. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm very excited, and T-Pain will be there too. So
Oh, shit. I saw T-Pain last summer. It was good.
oh, nice.
It's a good show.
Yep. So I'll have that to talk about next week.
That's awesome. RobMotes_ unofficial on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains. Inching ever closer to the release of Charlie Marie's new record. That's coming sometime in June. But you can come see the record release show on June 5th at the Lizard Lounge in Cambridge. So if anyone in the Northeast is around, holler at me. Maybe I'll put you on the list. How about that? That's how
single's great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of that one. It's my favorite song on the record. Don't ask me how to pronounce it. It's a tough word. Kankamagas Highway. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that whole record is going to be coming out in June. And, of course, the live show. That's one of the two shows we got coming up. I'll talk about the other one when we get a little bit closer. But would love to see you. And like I said, if any listeners out there want to come out and you happen to be in Cambridge on June the 5th, holler at me and I'll see what I can do.
Nice.
There you go. Well, with that, the check is here. So thank you for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to you all next week.